Let me start with something you deserve to hear clearly. After 60, poor circulation in the legs becomes one of the biggest silent threats to your independence. It is the reason so many older adults feel unsteady, cold from the knees down, or afraid they might fall. In fact, poor leg circulation can triple your fall risk. Most people believe this decline is permanent, that once the blood stops flowing the way it should, there is nothing left to do except accept it. But that is simply not true. There is one specific drink that can begin reversing this decline within hours. Not weeks, not months, but hours. When your arteries open back up and warm blood finally reaches your feet again, you feel it almost immediately. Here is what many people never get told. After the age of 60, your body produces about 70% less nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the natural chemical your blood vessels rely on to stay relaxed and wide open. Without enough of it, your arteries become stiff, like old rubber tubing. They tighten, narrow, and struggle to deliver blood down to your lower legs. That is why your feet feel cold, why the tingling shows up at night, and why that heavy, dragging sensation in your calves seems to get worse every year. This isn't aging catching up with you. This is your body running low on the one molecule that keeps your arteries flexible. And the moment nitric oxide drops, circulation collapses right along with it. But there is good news. You can restore nitric oxide in a very natural way, and some drinks do this far better than others. That is why I want to guide you through 10 of the most common circulation drinks. Some of them barely make a difference, some work slowly, and a few are absolute game changers that can widen your arteries by 30% or more. When your arteries open that much, it can be the difference between shuffling to the bathroom at night and walking with confidence, the difference between cold, numb toes and warm, steady feet that carry you safely through your day. What I am going to show you is based on clear biochemistry and solid clinical research. I will walk you from the least effective drink all the way up to the #1 option so you know exactly what truly works and what is simply overhyped. At the end, you will understand why your circulation slowed down in the first place and how you can help your legs feel alive again. Before we begin, if better circulation and stronger legs are important to you, go ahead and subscribe so you never miss a science-based tip that could truly change your health. As we move deeper into this conversation, I want to help you understand what is actually happening inside your legs. When someone over 60 begins to feel cold feet, tingling at night, cramping in the calves, or a growing sense of unsteadiness, it is easy to assume it is simply part of aging. But those sensations are signals. They are your body's way of telling you that blood is no longer reaching the lower legs the way it should. When your circulation slows down, every tissue in your legs begins to struggle. Your muscles do not receive enough oxygen, so they fatigue more easily. Your nerves become irritated because waste products are not carried away efficiently. Even your sense of balance is affected because the nerves in your feet need steady blood flow to send accurate signals to your brain. What many people mistake for clumsiness or weakness is often poor circulation silently affecting the way your legs communicate with the rest of your body. The real driver behind all of this is nitric oxide. After 60, the body produces far less of it, often 70% less than when you were younger. Without enough nitric oxide, your arteries cannot stay relaxed. They tighten and narrow, forcing the blood through a much smaller pathway. Imagine trying to water your garden through a hose that has been pinched almost closed. That is exactly what happens inside aging arteries. Blood struggles to reach the feet, and the legs begin to feel heavy, cold, or numb. There is another quiet problem that almost no one talks about. When blood vessels become narrow and stiff, tiny microclots can begin forming in those small channels. You cannot see them, and you usually cannot feel them directly, but they slowly make circulation worse day after day. Many older adults are dealing with these microclots without ever knowing it, and they wonder why their legs keep getting colder or why their cramping becomes more frequent. When people bring these symptoms to their doctor, the usual advice is to move more, elevate the legs, maybe take a baby aspirin or wear compression socks. Those things may give some temporary relief, but they do not fix the root cause, which is the collapse of nitric oxide production. Until your body has enough nitric oxide to reopen those vessels, the underlying problem continues. That is why so many older adults feel stuck in a cycle where nothing truly improves. The encouraging part is that this root cause is not permanent. It is not irreversible. Once you understand how to support your body in making more nitric oxide naturally, you can begin restoring blood flow in a way that actually makes a difference. And that is exactly what the right circulation boosting drinks can do when you choose them wisely. To understand why certain drinks can make your legs feel warm and alive again, you need to know a simple piece of science that almost no one explains clearly. Your body has a natural system for creating nitric oxide. It begins with dietary nitrates, the kind found in specific vegetables and plant-based foods. When you consume these nitrates, the process starts right in your mouth. Bacteria on your tongue convert nitrates into nitrites. Then, when those nitrites reach your stomach, the acidic environment transforms them into nitric oxide. It is an elegant chain reaction that your body depends on every day to keep your arteries open and flexible. When nitric oxide enters your bloodstream, something remarkable happens. Your arteries begin to relax. The medical term is vasodilation, and it simply means the blood vessels open wider so blood can move more freely. This widening can boost blood flow to your legs by 40 to 60% in a single day. For someone dealing with cold feet or that heavy, dragging sensation, this sudden opening of the arteries is the difference between barely shuffling across the room and walking with confidence. It is the difference between numb toes and warm feet that actually feel connected to the ground again. This is why certain drinks are so powerful. They deliver concentrated natural nitrates or compounds that trigger nitric oxide production quickly. When you choose the right drink, your body can flood your system with nitric oxide within hours. But it also explains why some drinks are almost useless for circulation. If a drink contains no nitrates or has ingredients that interfere with nitric oxide production, it simply cannot move the needle. You might feel hydrated or energized, but your arteries stay just as tight as they were before. That is why this ranking matters. Some of the drinks people rely on every day offer little more than a gentle nudge. Others are game changers that can open your blood vessels enough to genuinely change how your legs feel and function. The difference comes down to how strongly each one activates your body's nitric oxide pathway. And once you know which drinks actually do this, you can use them in a way that supports your circulation naturally, consistently, and effectively. Let's begin the ranking with the drinks that almost everyone assumes are good for circulation, but in reality do very little to help your legs. I want to walk you through this slowly because understanding why these options fall short will help you appreciate the real heavy hitters that come later. Drink number 10 is plain water. Now, water's essential. Every cell in your body needs it, and dehydration can absolutely slow down circulation by making your blood thicker. Thicker blood moves more slowly through the vessels, especially the tiny ones in your feet. But even when hydration is perfect, water alone increases blood flow by only about 8% in older adults. That number may sound acceptable on paper, but when your nitric oxide has dropped by 70%, 8% is nowhere near enough to make a noticeable difference. Water also contains no nitrates at all, so it cannot trigger nitric oxide production. Think of water as maintenance. It keeps the engine running but never improves performance. You should drink water every day, but it will not warm cold feet or ease leg heaviness in any meaningful way. Drink number 9 is green tea. Green tea gets recommended constantly, and it does have health benefits thanks to the catechins it contains. These antioxidants can support the lining of your blood vessels, but they work very slowly. Most of the research shows that green tea improves vascular function only after 8 to 12 weeks of consistent daily use, and if you skip a few days, you lose momentum. There is another issue many people do not realize. Green tea contains caffeine, and caffeine can cause vasoconstriction in some individuals. In other words, for certain people, it can actually tighten the blood vessels rather than open them. That completely defeats the purpose when your goal is stronger circulation to your legs. And to make things even more complicated, most people brew green tea with boiling water, which destroys about half of those helpful catechins before the tea even reaches your cup. It is a good drink for general health, but for fast, reliable circulation support after 60, it simply does not act quickly enough. Drink number 8 is tart cherry juice. Now, we are moving into options that have more meaningful effects. Tart cherry juice is rich in anthocyanins, compounds that can reduce inflammation and soften stiff arteries. In one study, it improved blood flow by about 18% after 12 weeks. That is a real effect, especially when arteries lose flexibility with age. But tart cherry juice has a major downside. A single cup can contain around 30 grams of sugar. For most older Americans, especially those with diabetes or prediabetes, that sugar spike can worsen circulation in the short term. High insulin levels narrow the blood vessels and slow down blood flow. So you get one step forward from the anthocyanins and 2 steps back from the sugar. It also becomes expensive quickly because a bottle of high-quality tart cherry juice can cost $8 or more, and drinking it daily can easily add up. If you choose to use it, it has to be diluted heavily and taken at the right time of day. But even then, it is far from the strongest option on this list. Drink number 7 is pomegranate juice. Compared to tart cherry juice, pomegranate juice is more impressive. It contains punicle agens, some of the most powerful antioxidants in nature. What makes pomegranate unique is that it protects the nitric oxide you already have by preventing free radicals from breaking it down too quickly. That is a clever mechanism that helps sustain nitric oxide levels for longer. Studies show pomegranate juice can improve blood flow by about 22% in older adults after several weeks and even reduce arterial plaque over time. These are meaningful changes, but again, the sugar content is high, often higher than tart cherry juice. A cup can contain 32 grams of sugar, and the cost is even more of an issue because pure pomegranate juice can easily run $12 to $15 per bottle. It can work well, but it is not accessible or appropriate for everyone. The benefits are real, but the drawbacks keep it lower on the list. Drink number 6 is cocoa prepared the right way. This is where we start to see a more reliable impact on circulation. Cocoa is naturally rich in flavanols, compounds that significantly increase nitric oxide production. Unlike green tea or tart cherry juice, cocoa works quickly. In fact, studies show that blood flow can improve within about 2 hours of drinking a high flavanol cocoa beverage. Many people feel their legs warming up, the tingling easing, and that heavy sensation fading not long after drinking it. That rapid response comes from how effectively flavanols activate nitric oxide pathways in the endothelium, the inner lining of your blood vessels. But the key is preparation. The cocoa most people buy is loaded with sugar, artificial flavors, and ingredients that completely cancel out the benefits. Instant hot chocolate packets, the kind you mix with boiling water or milk, deliver almost no flavanols at all. To get the real effect, you need pure, unsweetened cocoa powder. And you need enough of it. About 20 to 30 grams of cocoa powder provides the 500 to 700 milligrams of flavanols used in clinical research. That is the therapeutic range that actually produces results. The downside is taste. Pure cocoa without sugar is very bitter, and most people do not enjoy it. But adding regular sugar brings you right back to the same problem we saw with cherry and pomegranate juice. It spikes insulin and tightens blood vessels. The solution is a natural zero-calorie sweetener like stevia or monk fruit. When prepared this way, cocoa becomes an inexpensive, effective circulation booster you can use regularly without worrying about sugar overload. Among the bottom half of the ranking, cocoa stands out as the first drink that consistently moves the needle for older adults. It is still not the strongest option on the list, but it offers solid, rapid improvement when made correctly. For many people, this is the first drink where they actually feel a change in their legs the same day. And that feeling can be a powerful reminder that circulation is not fixed or doomed by age. It can be improved when you give your body the right raw materials. Now, everything we've talked about so far can help your circulation, but these options are still on the lighter end of the spectrum. They give your body a small boost, a gentle lift, and for some people that is just enough to start feeling a difference. But the real transformation begins with the next group. The top 5 drinks are stronger, faster, and far more reliable, especially for older adults who have been dealing with cold feet or leg heaviness for years. These are the ones that truly wake the circulation back up. Now we enter the top 5. This is where the real circulation boosters begin, the drinks that older adults often feel within hours and that consistently outperform most medications designed to improve blood flow. Each one works through a slightly different pathway, but all of them raise nitric oxide in a way that your arteries can immediately respond to. Drink number 5 is watermelon juice. Watermelon is naturally rich in an amino acid called L-citrulline. When you drink it, your body converts L-citrulline directly into nitric oxide. A single 16-ounce glass of fresh watermelon juice delivers around 1,000 milligrams of L-citrulline. That is a therapeutic dose. Studies show that drinking watermelon juice for several weeks can improve arterial function by nearly 30%. People often describe their feet warming up just a few hours after drinking it, and that heavy, aching feeling in the calves begins to fade within the first week. Watermelon also has a lower glycemic load compared to other fruit juices because of its high water content, so it is gentler on blood sugar. The main challenge is availability, especially outside of summer. Fresh watermelon juice is easiest to make when watermelons are abundant, but if you can access it, this drink is one of the most enjoyable and effective ways to support circulation. Drink number 4 is hibiscus tea, and this one surprises a lot of people. Hibiscus contains natural acids and plant compounds that relax the smooth muscle in your blood vessels, making them less stiff and more responsive. In a 6-week clinical study, hibiscus tea lowered systolic blood pressure by about 11 points and improved blood flow by 31%. That is a dramatic change for such a simple, inexpensive drink. Many people begin feeling relief in about 10 days. The cramping eases, the numbness fades, and the legs stop feeling as heavy. Hibiscus tea is also one of the most affordable tools you can use. A $3 box can last an entire month. The preparation matters. Steep 2 bags in hot water for at least 10 minutes to extract enough of the active compounds and drink it twice a day. The flavor is tart, almost like cranberry, and if you prefer a bit of sweetness, a small amount of stevia is perfectly fine. The only caution is for individuals already on blood pressure medication, because hibiscus can lower blood pressure significantly. If you are in that group, just speak with your doctor before drinking it daily. Drink number 3 is celery juice. This is an option that gained a lot of attention in recent years, and while many health claims around it were exaggerated, its effect on circulation is absolutely legitimate. Celery is packed with natural dietary nitrates. When you juice fresh celery, you extract a concentrated dose of those nitrates, which your body efficiently converts into nitric oxide. One 16-ounce glass delivers about 250 milligrams of nitrates, which is enough to increase blood flow by 35 to 40% within just 3 hours. Athletes have used celery juice for years to increase performance, because the boost in nitric oxide is so quick and predictable. For older adults dealing with cold feet or nighttime tingling, that same boost can feel almost transformative. The key is to drink it on an empty stomach first thing in the morning so the nitrates are absorbed without interference. The taste can be polarizing. It is salty, earthy, and distinctly green, but the benefits are strong enough that many people find it well worth it. You do need a juicer, and you need about 4 to 5 large celery stalks per glass, but the circulation improvement makes it one of the most reliable daily habits for anyone over 60. Drink number 2 is an arugula smoothie, and this is one of the most powerful natural nitrate sources you can put into your body. Arugula might look like a simple leafy green, but pound for pound, it contains more dietary nitrates than almost any other food. 2 cups of fresh arugula provide about 480 milligrams of nitrates. That is a massive amount, enough to increase blood flow by 42% after just 2 weeks of daily use. When arugula is blended into a smoothie, those nitrates become even easier for your body to convert into nitric oxide. Many people report that within a week, their feet feel noticeably warmer, their leg cramps ease, and they can walk longer distances without fatigue. After a month, it is common to see visible improvements in skin color and texture on the legs because the microcirculation has improved so much. The main challenge with arugula is practicality. Not everyone enjoys its peppery, slightly bitter flavor, and not everyone wants to drink a green smoothie every day. It also requires preparation and fresh ingredients. But for those who can commit to it, an arugula smoothie is often more effective than many prescription medications used for circulation. A good recipe blends 2 cups of arugula with blueberries, half a banana, and unsweetened almond milk. The fruit softens the peppery taste while keeping the sugar content low. One important detail is that nitrates degrade quickly after blending, so the smoothie must be consumed immediately for full benefit. When used consistently, arugula becomes one of the most reliable tools for restoring blood flow to the legs. And now we reach the number 1 spot, the king of circulation drinks, beetroot juice. Beets contain some of the highest concentrations of natural nitrates available in any drinkable form. One 8-ounce glass delivers roughly 300 to 400 milligrams of nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide with remarkable efficiency. Within 2 to 3 hours, blood flow can increase by 30 to 50%. That is not an exaggeration. It has been documented repeatedly in clinical studies that measured arterial stiffness, flow-mediated dilation, and walking endurance. But what makes beetroot juice truly exceptional is not just how fast it works, but how long the benefits last. In a landmark study, older adults who drank beetroot juice daily for 15 days experienced dramatic improvements. Blood flow to the legs rose by 45%, arterial stiffness dropped by 38%, walking endurance improved by 22%, claudication pain, the deep cramping pain that often forces people to stop walking, was significantly reduced. Many people feel their legs warm up within hours of drinking beet juice for the first time, and within days the nighttime tingling begins to fade. After 2 weeks, the difference can be life-changing. To use beetroot juice effectively, the timing matters. It should be consumed on an empty stomach in the morning for maximum absorption. Pure pressed beet juice, with no added sugars or fillers, is essential. Most grocery stores carry it for $6 to $8 a bottle, or you can make your own by juicing 4 medium beets to produce an 8-ounce serving. The flavor is earthy and naturally sweet. Some people enjoy it immediately, while others learn to appreciate it once they feel how dramatically it improves their circulation. One harmless side effect is that your urine may turn pink in the first few days. This is called beeturia and occurs in about 10 to 15% of people. It is completely normal. For most adults over 60 dealing with cold feet, leg heaviness, or declining mobility, beetroot juice stands alone as the most effective natural drink for restoring blood flow. It is powerful, affordable, and consistently backed by research. And when paired with smart habits, it becomes the foundation for reclaiming warmth, strength, and confidence in your legs. Now that you know which drinks actually work, the real question becomes how to use them in a way that delivers the strongest and most consistent results. This is where timing and routine make all the difference. Think of circulation as something that responds best to steady support. When you give your blood vessels what they need at the right moments in the day, your legs begin to change in ways you can feel. The foundation is beetroot juice in the morning. Drinking 8 ounces on an empty stomach allows the nitrates to be absorbed quickly without competing with food. That single choice can set the tone for your entire day. Within a few hours, your arteries begin to relax, blood flow increases, and your legs feel noticeably warmer. For many older adults, this becomes a morning ritual that feels just as essential as brushing their teeth. The benefit compounds over time, especially when you stay consistent day after day. In the afternoon, you can choose one additional circulation-boosting drink to reinforce the morning effect. Hibiscus tea is excellent if you prefer something warm and soothing. Drinking it between meals helps maintain steady nitric oxide levels and supports lower blood pressure at the same time. Celery juice is another strong option for the afternoon, especially if you want a faster, more intense nitrate boost. Both of these choices help your arteries stay open throughout the day so your legs do not slip back into that cold, heavy feeling by evening. You do not need both at the same time. Choosing one and sticking with it is enough to keep your circulation moving in the right direction. If you want the maximum possible improvement, you can rotate an arugula smoothie into your routine 3 or 4 times per week. Arugula delivers one of the strongest nitrate doses available from any food. When blended with fruits like blueberries or banana, it becomes a nutrient-dense smoothie that supports nitric oxide and nourishes the endothelium, the delicate inner lining of your blood vessels. Drinking it fresh is important because nitrates break down quickly once mixed. Many people enjoy it as a mid-morning or mid-afternoon drink on the days they choose to include it. It does not have to be daily to make a big impact. When you follow this structure, the timeline of improvement becomes very predictable. After about 3 days, most people begin feeling warm sensations returning to their feet. That is the first sign that your arteries are responding. After 1 week, the tingling and nighttime numbness usually begin to fade. Walking becomes a little easier, and the legs feel less heavy when standing up from a chair. After 2 weeks, walking endurance improves noticeably. You may find that you can move farther without stopping, and everyday activities feel smoother. After 1 month, the changes are often visible. The skin on the legs looks healthier, swelling decreases. The color becomes more even because the tiny capillaries are working again. These improvements are not random. They follow the way your blood vessels heal when nitric oxide is consistently available. Your legs begin to function the way they were meant to, not because of medication or luck, but because you finally supplied your body with the raw materials it needed all along. As powerful as these circulation-boosting drinks can be, there are a few common mistakes that can quietly erase much of the progress you should be seeing. These mistakes are easy to overlook, especially if you are trying to build new habits or if you assume that more is always better. I want to walk you through them clearly so you can avoid the traps that slow down so many older adults who are trying to improve their leg health. One of the biggest errors is drinking these nitrate-rich beverages when your stomach is too full. When you take them right after a heavy meal, the absorption of nitrates drops significantly. Your stomach is already busy breaking down proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, and the nitrates simply do not make it through the conversion process as efficiently. The result is weaker nitric oxide production and far less circulation improvement. Timing matters. These drinks work best on an empty stomach or at least 30 minutes before eating so your body can use them properly. Another mistake that almost no one realizes they are making is using mouthwash right after drinking a nitrate-rich beverage. The conversion of nitrates into nitrites starts in your mouth, and that process depends on healthy oral bacteria. Mouthwash kills those bacteria instantly. If you rinse with mouthwash right after a nitrate drink, you shut down the first step of the nitric oxide pathway. You could drink the perfect circulation boosting beverage and still get very little benefit because the conversion process never begins. If you use mouthwash regularly, just separate it from your nitrate drinks by a few hours. A third mistake is choosing products loaded with sugar or preservatives. Many commercial juices look healthy on the label, but the added sugar spikes insulin and tightens the blood vessels, which is the opposite of what you want. Sugar-dominated drinks cancel out the very circulation improvements you are working toward. Preservatives and artificial additives can interfere with nitrate stability as well. Always choose pure, unsweetened versions. Read the label. The fewer ingredients, the better. It is also important not to adjust or stop prescribed blood pressure medications without talking to your doctor. Some of these drinks can lower blood pressure naturally, which is beneficial, but you still need medical supervision if you are making changes to your routine. The goal is to support your health, not create unexpected drops in blood pressure that could lead to dizziness or falls. A brief conversation with your doctor ensures that everything works together safely. And finally, one of the most common misconceptions is believing that drinking these circulation boosters for 3 days is enough to transform your legs. While you may feel early improvements quickly, real vascular healing takes consistency. The smaller vessels need time to reopen, the endothelium needs time to recover, and nitric oxide levels need time to stabilize. The people who experience the most dramatic results are the ones who stay committed for several weeks. Circulation improves in layers. When you give your body steady support, that is when lasting change happens. As we come to the end of this conversation, I want you to remember something simple and empowering. Poor circulation in the legs after 60 is not an automatic part of aging. It is not a life sentence. What you've been feeling in your feet and calves, the coldness, the heaviness, the tingling at night, the limits on how far you can walk, those are signals from your blood vessels asking for support. And when you give your body the raw materials it needs to make nitric oxide again, your circulation can begin to recover in ways that are both measurable and deeply noticeable. The drinks we talked about are not magic. They work because they restore a natural process that has